TV and movies, God's way. This is the LITE version of this lesson. For the full sermon, visit bumby.org. Sadly, many Christians have become conformed to this world in many ways, and one of those ways is in the entertainment that they choose to watch in TV and in movies. We'll look at other forms of entertainment and some other lessons. We're going to start out by looking at the problem and then the solution. So first, the dangers of TV and movies. The general dangers are first, it can waste precious time, whether you're watching something clean or filthy. The average American spends 34 hours a week watching television. Our time is a gift from God that we should use wisely. Paul says in Ephesians 5:15 and 16, "Therefore be careful how you walk, not as unwise men, but as wise, making the most of your time, because the days are evil." Secondly, a steady stream of godless ideology. A postmodern worldview is woven into most programming to teach us to be tolerant of all beliefs and practices, and also to teach us that there is no God and that this world is here by accident. So those are some general dangers. Now for some dangers of watching trash specifically. First, it trains us in sinful ways. Viewing sins on the screen teaches us to do and to say those very things. Remember, do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits. Well, just the same, evil entertainment corrupts good habits. A second danger of watching trash is passive participation in sinful activities. It's passive because you're not actively doing it, but you are involved in the sin. Watching sin for entertainment is showing approval of it. Paul in Romans 1, after listing a litany of sins the Gentiles commit, said in verse 32, "And although they know the ordinance of God, that those who practice such things are worthy of death, they not only do the same, but also give hearty approval to those who practice them." So giving approval of sin is just as bad as committing the sin. Thirdly, watching trash deadens our conscience. Prolonged exposure to sin leads to apathy. In Ephesians 4 and 19, and they, talking about the Gentiles, having become callous, have given themselves over to sensuality for the practice of every kind of impurity with greediness. They become callous. They don't feel it anymore. And so when you don't feel it anymore, when you don't notice the sin, when it doesn't bother you, then you have grown callous. Now that we looked at some dangers, let's now look at some biblical principles of preventing sin. First, guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life." So we need to protect our eyes and protect our ears from exposure to sin, because what goes in goes out. Secondly, avoid the path that leads to sin. Proverbs 22:3, "The prudent sees the evil and hides himself, but the naive go on and are punished for it." If your path will lead to sin in the future, then get off that path. Change your path now, before the sin even begins. Thirdly, remove sinful influences. "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord." And so we need to remove those influences, whether it be people or whether it be entertainment. The person approved by God is one who rejects sinful influence. Fourth, flee sin and pursue righteousness. Paul told Timothy in 2 Timothy 2:22, "Now flee from youthful lusts and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart." Are we doing that, fleeing from sin and pursuing righteousness, when we allow ourselves to sit and watch sin and filth for entertainment? I think not. We need to proactively avoid sin with intensity. Well, now finally, let's look at some practical suggestions. My first suggestion is never watch unfiltered programming beyond a certain rating. If it's unfiltered, rated R is, I think, off limits by my study of what a Christian should partake in and see. PG-13 is probably usually off limits. And so determine for yourself the rating and the TV rating that you think is as far as you need to go. That's a good starting point. Secondly, avoid commercials when possible. Many commercials are filthy. The programming might be fine, but the commercials are filthy. So avoid them when possible. Thirdly, research the content of movies and TV shows before you watch them. One source for this is pluggedin.com. When you visit that site, you see that it covers movies and music and games and TV. You click on movies and click on the movie you're interested in watching. It'll tell you a plugged-in rating of how pure that movie is, and you can research the specific content, the sexual content, the violent content, the crude or profane language, and you can see just exactly what's going to be in that movie. The profane words are not spelled out but are only given with the first letter. You click on TV and you can look at many different programs and see at least the general idea of what's going to be in the program, and it'll tell you if there's going to be profanity, if there are going to be sexual references made in that show in a general way, and you can click on some specific episodes to get a more specific idea. Another source to research the content of movies and TV shows is screenit.com. This one is really good, but it also costs a monthly fee. Another suggestion I have is govern everything your children watch. Children are very impressionable, and so certainly govern what they watch. Don't turn them loose with a remote. Be careful what they watch. Even at their friend's house, they'll be exposed to things that you might not even know. My next suggestion is buy a profanity filter for your television. TV Guardian is an excellent profanity filter, and it reads the closed captioning, and you hook it up between your DVD player or DVR or whatever and your television, and it will usually get almost every single word. Once in a while it'll miss one. You can find these online for about $70. Next suggestion here, buy a filtering DVD player. If you're a person who likes to watch movies, this is a must. I have done this for years. ClearPlay is the type of DVD player to get, and they're a little hard to find right now, but visit clearplay.com to learn more about that. You join with a membership, and each movie has a movie-specific filter that you get from the internet and plug into your thing, into your DVD player, and it filters out not just the profanity, but it takes entire scenes out, and you can change the settings. You can find one online for about $130 on Amazon, or with a year membership for about $300. They're sometimes kind of hard to find. And the Blu-ray player is supposed to come out in November of 2014. It's supposed to come out. Finally, since streaming movies is now so popular, if you want to watch a movie on your computer, then stream filtered movies. You can also do this through clearplay.com. If you have a membership, you just click on Watch Instantly, and you have to rent each movie through Google Play, or you can also buy it. And one more resource for doing this is vidangel.com, and I think there are more selections there. There's about 400 movies, and you pay a monthly fee, and I found that to be an excellent source as well, an excellent tool. So in short, we need to remember Romans 12 and verse 2, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what that good and acceptable and perfect will of God is.